oh, the word has escaped me, but it's trying to reduce everything into samadhi, into kaivalya.
Right. Yeah, this is a great intuition what you said just now. I was not recording. I'm sorry for this. Pity.
Oh no! Oh no! This is so rich. Please don't forget to record. We need to keep these.
Right. Yeah, that was good. And that's what you said is really good, this one. That maybe because of that, and truly speaking, I also think so. Maybe because of that, that the whole turn was towards already not manifesting the inner reality, but not manifesting inner reality, but going
Dismantling the
right.
outer in favor of kaivalya. Kaivalya is a different kind of experience than
Right. It became more and more so, but it wasn't so at the beginning.
no. Right, I understand. I kept thinking, if this is a force and this is and it's common to all men, and it's, why on earth would the yoga texts be and yoga texts including Gita be discouraging this? Because it's, it needs to be integrated, it needs to be used. But truthfully speaking, as you just pointed out, if it's a force of externalization, then that makes sense to me. Why, at least, see, now what we do in transcendental meditation and what we teach, and this is important, is that it's there's a contained period of yoga, of being without the three gunas in transcendental consciousness, and then the activity is a part of the meditation, coming out and bringing that consciousness of transcendental consciousness out into speech and action is a very integral part of the program, because it needs to be, it needs to be integrated, and this is the sacrifice. In fact, this is where the sacrifice comes in, because it needs to be brought forth for the devata, for the devas to be able to participate in the world, in the activity of the world.
Right.
Yeah, so this is what we teach. This is what TM is about. You transcend, and then you come out into action. And that's what, Krishna says to Arjuna in chapter 2, verse 45. Nistrai gunyo bhavarjuna. And then yogastha kuru karmani. He's saying established in yoga. You get to yoga first. You're established in it. Then kuru karmani. Then you come out and you fight.
Oh. Well, this is the ancient ideal of rising to the liberation and coming back to action. And about this, Sri Aurobindo speaks the same way, and Gita says the same way, and there is also Ramakrishna speaks about Ishvara Koti and these Ishvara Koti, exactly this type of the souls, they reach to the highest, and they can leave. They are muktas, yeah? But they don't leave. They come back to act for the sake of the divine, to embody. And these are the types of souls which are mentioned here by.
Oh, you have another meeting?
In half an hour.
In
half an hour.
Oh, good. We have a few more minutes. Let's
We have
continue.
half an hour, yeah. So, yeah, this idea of what you said is really very. And then once this blockage of the mental structure, if you see what mental structure represents, it also blocks away the inner sense. And because of that, everything which comes with the mental structure, especially anger, becomes an obstacle because it blocks away the inner. So before it was the coming of the inner out with this power, and once it was established outside, it became the ego, power of the ego to establish itself in every situation. Now this becomes an obstacle, and Krishna and others are criticizing that power because you can't come to the inner with this egoistic anger. It leads you away because you went outside and you stay outside and you assert yourself outside all the time with this.
So that's what business is, and
Everything.
many times that's what, you know. So,
But it is the inner force which brought us out, which kind of brought that inner perception into the outside, objectivized it, exteriorized it. And now we
so
can.
that's what the power is, really, is to go. I mean, the inner power is the self, right?
Right.
So the power of it comes from going away from the self.
Right, into the world for the sake of the sacrifice or for the sake of.
Well, ideally for the sake of the sacrifice, but most of the time it's for the ego.
Later for the ego. Once it is becoming outside, the same force, it is captured by the ego and used by the ego for self-affirmation.
Aggrandizement.
Yes, then of course. But the first movement is totally different. This one, which is here in the Vena.
So let's keep going for a little bit.
All right. So if we read the whole thing,
Yaste Manyu.
Destructible breeds for himself forthwith all-conquering energy. So pushyati, ojas. He increases ojas, this power of.
Wow, see, that's powerful too.
Yeah. The ojas grows by it. The might of the body, of the physical being grows. A vital physical conglomerate of this aggregate grows. Vishwamana.
So is that the same as vital? The vital grows.
Right, it is vital physical. Ojas. Ojas is an interesting thing, as you know. Tejas and ojas in the yoga, they have a specific.
Tejas and ojas are not the same.
Yeah, but they are connected. Of course, they are not the same. Tejas is the result of ojas. There will be no tejas if ojas will not be there. Ojas is like soma, and tejas is like fire.
Right. Marshi says that soma as ojas is that finest product of digestion, which is neither physical. It's on one side physical, but on the other side consciousness. It's both. It's that finest relative material. It's the finest material in the relative that can have both characters. And it comes from digestion.
Interesting. It also comes from digestion because everything comes from digestion in this physical world. Yeah. But that he connected spiritual and physical into one is very interesting. Shubhendu says on ojas that to get ojas, to get tejas, to get power over vital worlds, to be conscious in the vital worlds, yeah? Not to be taken by vital creatures and forces, you need ojas. And ojas can be accumulated by
Immunity.
brahmacharis. Those, that means no sexual relations, neither in the mind, nor in the vital, nor in the physical.
Not an option.
No, and that means you will accumulate more and more ojas, because ojas goes with the semen out. Yeah,
Shukra Dhatu. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why brahmacharya was needed, not because of anything else. To get to
but there are so I mean there are other ways of increasing ojas for people who are not brahmachari.
Well, there are many, I'm sure there are, but it is spending it very easily. To spend ojas, accumulated ojas, would be very easy to have sexual relations and finished. You will not be efficient, you will be just partial available for these experiences.
Right.
And they will come to you, but it won't be regular, it won't be growth of consciousness gradually. So this is Ojas Pushyati. Ojas Pushyati with this, notice, with Manyu. Manyu
What is Pushyati?
is growing, flourishing, flowering, becoming more and more increasing. Yeah? So breeds for himself forthwith all-conquering energy. This is Ojas Vishwam. The universal Ojas is growing accordingly. It's a very powerful state. Arya and Dasa, will we conquer with thine aid? So we can conquer both good and bad ones. Slaves in ourselves and Aryans in ourselves. Aryan in this sense is the noble man, our noble souls. So we can conquer both constituents of our creation, our inner and our outer selves, with thy aid. So we need to, in order to conquer our inner self, we need Manyu. Can you imagine?
Yes.
We can't do it with a, sattvic meditation. You will never go anywhere inside. To break inside, you need also Manyu. You need energy. This is something which we don't find in the Greek explanation. With thee, the conqueror, with conquest, conquers bad. Sahaskritena sahasa, sahasvata, my God. Look at these three words. With sahas is this power which can endure or can bear or conquer. So with the conquering power, sahasa, with conquering power which possesses this conquering power by that which is made by conquering power, possessing conquering power, we can conquer both inner and outer selves.
Which is the word conquering power? Sahaskritena?
Yes, sahasa, sahaskritena, sahasvata. Everywhere sahas. I will open the dictionary. Sahas.
Yeah, I remember like Sahasra Shirsha.
Well, Sahasra is 1,000, yes, maybe also related to it. Look at the Sahas, powerful, mighty, victorious. Strength, power, force, victory. The root Sah has a meaning of enduring or bearing, having power to bear. Here it is. To prevail, overcome, conquer, defeat, gain, win. To offer violence to master, to suppress, to restrain, to be able to or capable of, to bear up against, resist, stand, withstand, to bear, to put up with, endure, suffer, tolerate.
Tolerate.
All right. So all these meanings are in the Sahas. Though it is not in the dictionary, it is in the root.
Yes. Well, then this brings up another conversation in my mind. I mean, in a lot of this conversation, a lot of this particular, we're talking about obstacles and overtaking something or prevailing against something. And I mean, and I realize maybe I'm kind of mixing, Veda with Vedanta here in some way. But when you consider that from the point of view of Vedanta, there is the inner and the outer are nothing but the same, but are both consciousness. They're both
not totally so. I can't totally agree that they're the same. But maybe you are looking still for expression of it. There is a denial of the outer nature, very strong and very clear, philosophical, yes?
in Vedanta, you mean, in Vedanta?
In
Yes.
Vedanta, what we know it as Advaita Vedanta, because Vedanta is a very vast term, includes Upanishads.
Upanishads, yes. So, but we don't need to have a conversation about that. I'm just trying to understand what is being defeated here, what is being overcome, what is being overtaken. What is it that is being destroyed? What is it that the Manyu is actually? Because the only thing that seems to be worth destroying is not the object, but the relationship between the subject and the object. It's the relationship of considering the object to be an enemy, and because if you take this to its full expression, the subject and the object are the same constituent. They're both Atma, they're both the self, they're both unbounded infinite consciousness at their most fundamental. And so, but along the way, before that consciousness really is established and really dawns, you see I'm myself, I'm the good one, and there's the other thing that is the bad one, and they're obstructing me, and therefore I am angry, and I have this power that is being invoked to annihilate the object of my anger.
Right, either the object of my anger, which can be outer or can be inner. If I recognize that the object of my anger is an inner incapacity or desire, I can demolish that also.
Oh yeah, then you get an ulcer.
Yeah, then you get what we get usually.
Then you get an ulcer for annihilating your own self.
Right. Instead of destroying others, which would be better for us, we destroy ourselves. In either way, yeah, we destroy something.
So there's something here, there's just some component in this verse. There's something.
Look, there is 4 times root sah is used. Sahyama, may we bear or may we conquer dasam, the dasa, the slave, or in us, yes. Aryam tvaya, and with the.
Okay, well, let's analyze. Let's. This might be the key then to figure out what parts of ourself really are being overcome or being conquered by this Manyu. So one is slave, the slave component.
Yeah, this dasa is the one who actually divides. It's a divider from da, das, to divide. From here, dasyu, the dualizer, divider.
Dualizer. Okay, that makes sense.
So
that, yeah.
Dualizer is the dvish, of course, and dvesha, but here dasa from root da, to cut. And those which are cutting the oneness into pieces. And
so is that the same da as like giver, like to
exactly.
done?
Yes, as to give. To give and to cut is the same root. By the way,
Yeah, we went over that in the etymology.
Yeah. Now it becomes useful, because that information which Panini gives on da as giving and cutting is very useful for this, because this root is so much used in the Veda everywhere. Wherever you meet it, you will get meaning of it. So these cutters and these Aryans, but look how it is built interestingly. May we endure dasam, so to say, may we conquer the cutter, the dualizer in us, Aryam Tvaya Yuja, and with together with you, with connection to you, also Aryam, the noble one. So it is like, may we break through, or may we conquer Dasa, and also with your help, or with connection with you, Aryam also, the noble one. Because noble one most probably also has to be conquered.
In other words, that is also a dualizing influence. That aspiring for nobility, perhaps, or maybe that's more like reputation, or place in society, or all those things that are associated with the 10th bhava in the chart, having to do with your place in society, your career, your
but if we take these two, yeah, it could be, if that is so. But it could be also these two, dasam and aryam, can be the two poles of our being. One is the outer being, which is totally unconscious and cut off from the source. Another is aryam, noble being within our soul, so to say.
Oh, is Aryam having to do with the soul then?
It's not noble one, you know. Usually it is that part which is seeking the divine in us. Aryan is really that who supports gods, who does the sacrifice and so on. Dasa is the one who can't sacrifice, doesn't know how to do it, does you? He doesn't have a skill to do it, doesn't have mind to do it. He wants only to sustain himself.
But they're both activity oriented, right? They're both action oriented.
Right. So in a way, Aryan is also produced from root Ri, yes, from which we have a rhythm, this dynamic truth, or Rishi, or all those words from Ri to rise, yeah, to rise, to grow in consciousness and power. So those who are growing, progressing, evolving, they are Aryans. And those who stay sustainable are Dasas.
So why then is the Rishi entreating to overcome both of those?
Yeah, maybe not to overcome, but we can find better
to prevail over, to...
Yes. So can you imagine that Rishi looks from the height on all this, with the mind of the supramental light and knowledge, and sees this struggling soul there and this resisting part in us, and wants to bring this higher knowledge into the action, and can say something like this: may we, with the help of this force, break through to the innermost and outermost part of the human beings. It's also possible, one more interpretation, very universal meaning. Yes. May we reach out to the innermost and outer, the noble part and the slavery part of the human consciousness. And by the force, sahasa, which possesses force, sahasvata, and made by force, sahaskritena. And this is all Manyu. Now you have much to think of.
Yeah, I find that a little bit confusing, um, but you know, because it would seem that the Aryam would have a supportive role in because it's driving one to the sacrifice,
Right.
and but we're breaking through that as well. We're even breaking through that.
Now, we bring, the rishis want to bring higher knowledge, transcendental knowledge, which this soul, this noble soul doesn't have. To break to him, to this soul, and bring that knowledge, you need this, this breaking power to really convey. For example, this knowledge of the Veda is here for thousands of years. How many noble souls really turned towards it? So not so many. So there was no power, which could do it. It needs power. So the knowledge can be in front of our nose, but we will not see it because there is no power to break through it, to come to the noble soul, our noble soul. Our noble soul will be preoccupied with other things. So for the rishi rishis, those forefathers, Angirasa rishis, who are supporting us from above, Pitris, our movement of humanity. This could be a very important task. And this is Manyu Tapasa rishi.
Is he an Angirasa? Do we think? Doesn't say.
Doesn't say. It would say Angirasa Tapasa. We have to check. This is 10th mandala. There are all kind of names.
Everybody's in there, yeah. Well, so we're still on verse 1.
But it seems this verse 1 is much more comprehensive than it looked like first time.
It's incredible, actually. It was incredible. We could just spend weeks on this weeks, and I'm up for that totally. I mean, the progress is not as important as the penetration into it.
Sure. We did very great things today. I'm very glad.
Yeah, and last week and this week, it's been incredible. I'm so.
This was great. What you suggested was also wonderful about this change of yogic view. But also, I kind of understood why Krishna is against Krodha now. Truly speaking, it is marvelous discovery that we kind of comprehended these two movements. One is breaking through, another is already used by ego to assert itself. And
that's Krodha.
Yes.
Krodha. And
but
it's
Manyu,
not the same as Manyu.
Yes, we can make a distinction between the two, right?
Brilliant. And I would like to be able to understand that. I would like to really understand that, because then, then this kind of rage would find some place of usefulness rather than, internalizing destruction, that's what my goal is with this penetration, is to find out where in this, because it's common to all men. It said in the next verse, it's common to all men. Of course, I'm imagining it's different. I mean, if it's common to everybody, it's like a lowest common denominator in a sense. It has to have different layers of application, just in the same way that consciousness does. There's pure consciousness at the basis of everything, and everybody has that. But to actually realize it and then activate it, that takes tapas, that takes all kinds of other sacrifice, it takes all kinds of other things. So that must be the same thing with Manyu, that it's common to everybody, but there must be means or method for, not for activating it, but for transforming it or utilizing it for the highest. And that's what my search is with this.
Right. right. Okay, that's why tapasa, Manyu tapasa. Right. So we will end with mantra now, and because I have another class coming in for me.
As do I.
All right, Julia. So see you then on Monday.
Monday. Very good.
Vang me manasi pratishtita. You can read. Mano me vachi pratishtita. Avira Vedasya ma'anistha. Shrutam me mahaprasi.
Sambhavami Varishvami Satyam Varishvami Annamavatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Avatu Vaktaram Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Vladimir. By the way, I'm not reading. I memorized it.
All right. You can read. If I take off, because this I don't hear myself very bad. I explained already.
Yeah. But the point was that I'm not reading that mantra. I've memorized it.
Yeah. I also never read already.
Of course. But yeah, that was part of one of my lessons to memorize. I just thought you should know that.
Right, very nice.
Okay, see you Monday.
See you, bye.
Bye for now.